Yo, yo, yo. What it do, what it do, what it do. We are back at it once again. This is the Beat Tape Breakdown. We got my man T Jones in the building with us today, all the ways down in Texas. Texas, what up?
What's good? What's good?
I gotta jump out the gate and ask, is the T for Texas in the name?
No, not this time.
Okay. It just dawned on me. Maybe that's what it represents, Texas Jones.
Nah.
Okay.
My
Okay.
first letter of my name, yeah, Travis. So
No
yeah.
doubt, no doubt. Okay, I mean you can use double. It could be a double thing, double entendre. T for the name, T for the state. But how you feeling?
Man, feeling great, feeling good,
Good.
blessed. Appreciate the opportunity, definitely to
No
be on.
doubt, no doubt. You've been on the platform, you've been doing your thing, we've heard the beats, so it's time to dive a little deeper and get to know the man behind the music and figure, what's going on in Texas, what's cooking up in Texas, and just to get the general vibe on the beat tape and everything. So vibes, let's just start with that right out the gate. Where did the title come from, and why did you call it vibes before we actually jump into it?
Oh man, it kind of just came together midway while making the tape. Kind of a lot of stuff was going on the last couple of months. Different vibe around here, with the snowstorm, and honestly, it just came from a compilation of times and events that were going on through the time. So
Right.
like that.
This is the first beat tape.
This is the first one. This
Okay.
is
Okay. All right. I'm sure the first of many. And the name is the government name. The producer name is the government name, correct?
government is Travis, producer
Okay.
name. Yeah.
Right, right. Got you. Okay. Well, we got 9 tracks, I do believe. So we're gonna run through 9 tracks. We're gonna go one by one and just chop it up and break it down. Now the beats don't have a name per se. Like a lot of producers, they put like Paradise or Gold Mine or whatever. But yours is just Vibes One, Vibes Two, Vibes. Any reason behind that? Why it didn't have an actual name for the beats?
Honestly, I was just cranking them out. Ended up making like 20 of them, and I didn't come up with names. Just kept naming them.
Right, right. Dope. All right. Let's jump into the very first one to set the tone. Anything in particular you need to let us know about this one? Like what was the vibe behind creating it or what inspired or why did this become the first one to open the whole tape up?
It definitely felt like an intro kind of song. Definitely kind of set the tone for the whole tape. More definitely kind of chill vibe, and kind of lead you on to the rest of the tape. So
Okay. Let's check it out. This is the first track off the Vibes beat tape. T Jones is in the building, Texas is in the building. Let's jump into this first one real quick and see what it do. That's a funky sample and tucked underneath under that, man. I like that. That's a vibe.
thank
If that's what the whole tape sounds like, I'm looking forward to 8 more tracks on
you.
that vibe right there. I like that. I like that. I'm digging that. Now you submit WAV files, MP3 files. Is the reason why it's mixed and mashed like that, as opposed to just all waves or all MP3s?
So I had no, there's no particular reason. Had some waves, had some MP3s, and then none of them were titled, so I kind of got confused myself. Which one was the wave MP3? A little user error on my end, but
Right.
got it all together. No particular reason, no.
Okay. Do you usually name your beats and this one just happened to be a tape where it's not named or no?
Yeah. Normally I name them, have a little creative name for it all and everything, but this one just yeah, no, just vibes, everything a vibe.
Okay, okay. Now, for those of us that ain't, I mean, I am, but not everybody is up to what's popping in Texas or the scene in Texas in general. Kind of paint us a picture of what's the current generation of Texas production wise, artist wise, and just the general scene. What's going on in Texas right now?
I think it's definitely on the come up. A lot of people are definitely moving to Austin from all areas of life and all backgrounds. So pretty soon, I think it's going to be a new melting pot for production world. Definitely, they have their own music lane right now, more alternative rock and country and things like that. But I think with the evolution of the area, it's going to be definitely a lot more coming out of Austin.
Okay. Did the whole blackout or the snowstorm, did that kind of put a damper on the scene, or is everybody kind of back to how it was pre-storm?
Oh, it's definitely dampered still there. Especially with the the COVID situation going on and things slowly starting to open back up. Hopefully, pretty soon, things are going to get back right. The snowstorm didn't obviously help the situation at all, but definitely on the way in the right direction. I think
Okay.
it's definitely right.
Definitely, definitely. All right, let's jump into the second track. This is track number 2 off the Waves beat tape. We got T Jones with us tonight, today, this afternoon, wherever in the world you might be right now, different time zones. But let's check this one out. This is the second track, another wave file, so it should be loud. So
Oh
let's
yeah.
get to it. I don't know if there's such a thing as emo production to match the emo rap, but that sounds like the face of emo production. What is it? What goes on behind the scenes for a producer like yourself? Like, are you producing like you just came home from a hard day's work, you jump in the studio and produce based on how you're feeling at that moment? Kind of paint a picture on how does production come out of you? How do you what's your your state when it comes to producing?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a different approach every time. Sometimes it's off a fresh, hard day of work, might be inspired off of something. But I always try to make sure at least the feeling's there. I definitely want it to be a feeling of some sort when the production's, all said and done. But I'll hop in. I might have heard a sound one day, might get a sample from somewhere, might be just playing around on the keys, play a little something, add some drums, and then it's on from there. Uh,
Okay. You an instrumentalist? Any live guitars, any live keyboards, any live, or is it, a collection of packs and whatnot?
it's a little bit of both. More so back then, I was doing more live instrumentation. I used to play a lot of instruments. It's like almost six instruments.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it kind of helped with just understanding tonal sounds and textures and things like that. It kind of exactly what I want to hear. Um, so
What are
yeah,
those six instruments, if I might ask?
so yeah, I play piano, trombone, trumpet, sax. Let's see, some drums. I'm very, very mediocre on drums as far as the, stick to the pad,
Right.
and guitar a little bit. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
fun.
So your percussion game should be pretty crazy if if you got like all those and plus, the trombones and the trumpets and whatnot. But collectively, it should be pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Is that
definitely.
something you got in school? Like, where did you get? Because not most producers don't get a chance to. I've never heard a producer really hardly mention like playing trumpet, trombone. Like keyboards is kind of like the first suspect that people usually go to. Some might mess with the guitar a bit, but or the drums a bit. But to have that range, like, where does that come from? Is that from school?
Yeah, so that came from school. I actually kind of got swindled into the whole trombone thing, but that was a whole fun experience in its own self. That was actually the second instrument I learned how to play after piano, was trombone, and then I went into more of the brass stuff, and went from there to experimenting with even like the woodwinds, like flute and clarinet and trumpet and saxophone. But mainly middle school, going into high school, and then kept up with like more of the piano and self-learning things. You could more, I would say, self-learning instruments like a piano and guitar and things like that.
Okay. If you had to pick one instrument aside from the drum, that's kind of the obvious giveaway. Which would be your instrument of choice of all those that you've messed with, as far as what you would like to incorporate in your sound? If you had to pick one instrument.
I like the sax, honestly. I like the sax. I used to do a lot of heavy sax songs. Had to had to kind of slow down and step away,
Right.
but definitely plan on bringing that back.
Okay. All right. Dope, dope, dope. All right, let's get into the third track. This is we're tuning into the Vibes beat tape. This is producer by the name of TJONEZ, straight out of Texas. Is it Austin, Texas to be exact?
Yeah, Austin,
Okay,
Texas.
Austin, Texas. This is the third track, so we're gonna jump right into this. This is MP3 file, no name, just vibes. So we tuning into the vibes. Third track. Let's check it out. what do you envision like when you're making this track? What are you hoping that a person listening to this is like, are they home cleaning or they're in a whip? Like, how are you envisioning what a person might be going through when you're making this beat? Like, you making it thinking like, okay, this person's gonna be just vibing,
Yeah.
at home with the lady or lady with their guy or in a movie or like what's like, are you seeing like a vision of what person people might be going through while they're vibing to this?
Sometimes during, but most of the time after. Like for this one, it was more so I'm thinking, kind of maybe clearing your mind or something. You might be in a hillside, the sun might be setting, you might be driving around, cruising, just
That's dope.
get your mind right,
Right.
just living music,
Right.
say so.
That's dope. That's dope just to kind of have that force, that vision to kind of envision the kind of scene that you're kind of trying to create, the vibe you're trying to create, as opposed
Yeah.
to just making a beat. You kind of have a deeper vision behind it, which is dope. What's the average time to make a track for you? Are you kind of bang it out in an hour, bang it out in a day? Like what's the usual time frame for you to make a joint that you're actually comfortable to put out there?
Honestly, it really just depends on what the purpose of it is for. Like for this vibes tape, I would say maybe most of these, maybe a couple hours. One song might be about 2 hours. Not too intricate, just more main so catching a vibe, and not all the intricacies, with the if we're gonna do a beat battle or something, might take a 7 hours or 6 hours just to make sure I fine tune, everything, get the sounds right, and
Right. So break that down. So a beat battle beat and a song beat or a beat tape beat. How do you differentiate between the two? I know it takes longer, as you say, but is there any other specific things you got to make sure is included with the battle beat as opposed to a song beat?
definitely a song beat. I'm going for definitely more emotion or feel type. The beat battle, I definitely want to make sure the energy is there. Depending on transitions, making sure those are there, making sure makes sense. Even though you're doing those similar things in a songwriter or just a vibing type beat, but more so every second counts in a beat battle. So you want to make sure you're
Right.
tuned.
I
Yes.
mean, it's a common thought that you got to have a lot of transitions, but now as I sit here and think about it, I've seen judges go crazy for beats that weren't chopped up or nothing. There were no transitions. It was just a straight dope beat from beginning to end, just like a song, basically like a song. But everything was just glued together so well. The bass was hitting, the drums were hitting, and there is no chopped up transitions or none of that. Just a straight 60-minute of music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that could work too. It doesn't always have to be, the idea now is you have to chop it up every 4 bars, every 8 bars, have some transition, flip it up. But it doesn't always work. Like someone's beat that's just dope and solid from beginning to end, it could just be straight 60 seconds of that. What is some of your equipment of choice right now, aside from, the live instruments that we mentioned, but like DAW wise, what would be like your main go-to must have gadgets to, get your thing together?
Honestly, I got an Ableton Push, so I use the Push. So I'm mainly on there the majority of the time. I'm have a little like a keyboard, a launch key keyboard, 25 keys. Something really get you right to the point. You know, um, I use an Ableton really as far as my workstation. I use sometimes Logic depending on certain things, collabs. I use Reason sometimes, messing with like rewiring and stuff like that, just to kind of do some sound design, just see where it can go, honestly. But I would say mainly Ableton and mainly like native instruments or something that has clear pianos
Okay.
is a good starting
No,
point.
no FL in the arsenal.
I started there, the days of, restarting, the program crashing on you and stuff. But,
Right. Okay.
I had to, yeah, went to Ableton, a little more efficient for me.
Right, right. Now that's dope because most producers nowadays, like I would say 80% is all FL. So it's always interesting when I hear someone who's chosen Ableton other than, the usual suspect.
Yeah.
Was the drums a issue with when you were trying to stick to FL? Because most people who use Ableton, they say the only thing that they might give FL the upper hand was the drums knock a little different.
Yeah, they do. And the sequencing, I think the interface is a little more intuitive. for someone, trying to get into beats or, just even creating it, it's a little more intuitive and straightforward. With Ableton, you get this pen and paper almost, and you're drawing it in and you're playing it out. And, that's just, from my personal perspective.
Right. Any
But
hard? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I honestly like Ableton. I like to get down in the nitty gritty. I know you could do similar things on both, but I'm more definitely like Ableton.
Okay. Any practice or MPCs, the Tritons, the Roland MVs, any of that kind of stuff? Have you dabbled with any hardware, machine, anything like that?
No, I haven't. I would love to, just to include that in my arsenal. That definitely might be a new path, new journey uh, in the future. So
Right, right. Okay. It's always, I mean, it's dope to have kind of like the best of both worlds. I know a lot of
mm,
producers today are just software and they're comfortable with that, the plugins, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But it adds an element when you have like that when you can be that versatile and kind of dabble in the software world and the hardware, just to get the feel, like the pads, it's a different feel. Clicking on a mouse is
yeah.
just a different feel than banging on the pads and that experience. So it's something to, add to the arsenal at one point, if you will. But let's jump into the fourth track off the Vice beat tape. This is T Jones, straight out of Texas, Austin, Texas to be exact. We vibing to 9 tracks off his beat tape. It's out now, called Vibes. This is track number 4, and it goes a little something like this. What's your current state as far as pitching tracks to artists and whatnot? Where are you at with that process right now?
So I'm been kicking it up a little more as of recently. I work with a couple artists from in the area, Houston, Dallas, Texas, Austin, just mainly Texas. But always open to sending out beats and always just an opportunity presents itself.
Okay, how are you finding these artists? I mean, obviously everything is online, but is there a specific method that you're using to try to reach out, or like what's that process like? Walk me through a process of you finding an artist or hearing about an artist and you think you want to, get some beats to that artist. What's the process like for you?
Honestly, I'll use. I'm on Spotify a lot, and there's a nice little feature on there that they do. You can find similar artists that are, to the music you listen to or you cater towards, or maybe just what you're looking for. And I could go through there, look on Instagram, check out some of their YouTube stuff, and then from there try to match up, maybe what I have in my sound library, and see if I can find an email or do a quick pitch and see if they're interested into it.
Okay. Any interesting stories that kind of resonate with either good or bad responses reaching out to artists, or what has that been like?
I wouldn't say any that just stick out off the top of my head. Like I wouldn't say there's never really a bad experience for me. It's a learning experience all the time, right? You just continue to grow, learn, get better, you know.
Right.
So I wouldn't say there's anything that sticks out.
N
Yeah.
None of the free beats requests.
Oh, oh, that happens all the time,
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
sure.
I guess
Yeah.
at this point that's no longer a bad thing. It's just a part of the game, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when people would look at that as just like offensive, like you know what I mean. I put all this work into my craft, and you just want me to give it away for free. But I guess at this point we're so used to that request of free beats that nobody even makes it a big deal anymore.
Yeah, low key let you know you're doing something right. Somebody wants some of the stuff you got.
Okay, okay, I could dig it. I could dig it. All right, let's jump into track number 5. We're tuned into T Jones, straight out of Austin, Texas, running through the beat tape called Vibes, and the whole tape is a vibe. So this is track number 5. Once again, this is T Jones. Let's get it. The second part of that had to me a very Texas kind of vibe. Like I'm hearing Bun B on that. Are you ever trying to, make a sound that caters to or sounds like Texas that has like, Technic signature on it?
Honestly, not really. I'm gonna have to give it a try, actually.
Okay. You ever get artists hitting you up like wanting that kind of sound, like a Texas vibe? Because a lot of times you get kind of pigeonholed to where you're from. So if you're from Cali, people might want a West Coast vibe, or if you're from New York, they might want that traditional New York boom bap. If you're from Toronto, they might want a Toronto-ish kind of vibe. Do you get that from Texas, where they want a certain sound that you might not necessarily do, but they just assume you do it because you're from that state?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
How you
Yeah,
deal
good
with that?
request. You know, try to find a middle ground. I try to, try to make it work. Bring the best of, both worlds. But try to accommodate.
Right,
Yeah.
right. How would you, well, like in your mind, what is the Texas sound? Like I have my kind of opinion on what it sounds like. How would you define it? Or how would you describe it?
So for me, I would say definitely heavy. Maybe uh, almost to an extent like not dirty all the way, but just heavy, kind of slow. Most people too slow for them. Um, Definitely just rhythmic, kind of you kind of know when you listen to something like chopped and screwed, when you get in a certain feel, like that Texas feel,
Right.
kind of a feeling.
Okay.
So
Okay. Got you, got you, got you. Now you've been producing for how many years altogether?
I would say it's coming up on 10 years now.
Oh wow, wow. What is at what point did you feel like, I'm sure there was a point where you felt like, you know what, I'm gonna put this production thing aside. Has that ever come up in your career where you're like, you know what, maybe I need to step in, become a rapper, become a painter, do something other than production, but that music just pulled you back in?
I'll dibble and dabble. I've been pretty straightforward with the producing kind of lane. Just making sure I'm staying consistent with that. But outside of what I do for, day to day, production's been a first love for, you know,
Right,
so,
right. Okay. Because I mean, like anything in the art, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, or it's like, you know what, maybe I ain't getting the results I want to get. And some producers, they just find another occupation or whatnot. But those that have that passion, even if they give it a break for a year, they always find themselves back into it. Give themselves a break for 2 years, still find themselves back into it. So it's like that yearning that you just can't, you know, get away from.
yeah, yeah. It's like just mainly it's even like therapy or it's a getaway,
Therapy
from
would be the actual, like, probably the best term for it. It is therapy at a certain point. So that's dope. All right, let's jump into track number 6. If you're just tuning in, this is the Vibes beat tape, T Jones, straight out of Austin, Texas. This is the beat tape breakdown. We run it through 9 tracks. We on number 6 right now. So let's jump right into it. Vibes beat tape out now. We'll get to where it's available shortly. All right. what are some artists you like want to work with, or if you had to pick like your top three artists, if you had your wish list, who would the three artists be that you would love to like collab, have your beat in their hands and whatnot?
Well, it would always be cool to have, like a Drake or somebody. Drake, that'd be probably on the list. I really like Isaiah Rashad. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
TDE,
TDE,
creative. Um, that'd be cool. Even like a Big Sean would be really cool.
very
Um,
dope.
but those are three people
Okay,
that I would on that list.
give me someone from Texas you like to have on the list.
Someone from
Putting you
Texas,
on
I
the
would like
spot
that.
now.
Oh man. Let's see.
Got a lot of legends out of Texas.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly.
Okay, okay, all right. We'll let that marinate a little bit more. Um, so what's your style? Are you always like a soloist producer, or you have like a team, or is it just you doing your thing?
Um, I mainly work on production by myself, but I'm part of a collective of people and a team that we all just work on music, bounce ideas off, kind of a creative collective, so to say.
Right.
Shout out to Tim out there in Los Angeles. He's a producer, and Ani, he's in Texas as well. Uh,
Okay.
so just a couple of the producer homies that we all just put our minds together.
Right.
And what about Josh too? He's can't tell you where he's at right now, but he's out there doing his thing too. But
Right.
we just bounce ideas and try to keep motivated and keep producing. So
That's dope. The fact you're all from different regions as well, because that adds to the sauce. Having a little West Coast, having a little South. Just the different regions, because every region kind of has their own sound. Although turn on the radio, everything sounds the same nowadays. But generally speaking, every region kind of has a little different flavor to add to the pot, which is dope. Do you prefer that soloness, or you like in the studio, for example? Is it just you making it, or because if those guys are in LA and this one's over here, you're obviously not in the studio. You're just emailing tracks and files and whatnot. But what about like when
yeah.
you're just in your own studio? What's it like?
So I have local producers too. Shout out to Musi. We have some local producers. We get together in the studio, connect up and go at it and kind of get the in live action real
Right.
time.
It's a whole different feeling in live than just sending someone a file. Like you can't, there's certain essence, like a essence you can't capture sending a file that you would catch if you're all in the studio vibing, having a sip, having a whatever, just in that vibe together creates a certain synergy. So yeah, that's where I was kind of going to, like how do you like producing, if it's solo or when you have like a team environment around you.
Yeah. So I would say mainly I like producing. If I'm going for a feel, I'm definitely like producing for myself just to make sure I get that feeling, gotten across onto that track. For going for like a hit or something, I definitely like, feeding off the energy of others and, you never know where it can go. Sometimes you need that inspiration and motivation from.
Most definitely. Most
So
definitely. All right. So we got three tracks left. This is a vibe. The beat tape is called Vibes, and it's all vibes. I'm loving this. The last one, you're getting a lot of fire emojis in the chat for the last one, so they're definitely feeling that, which is dope. Let's get into track number 7. Once again, this is T Jones, straight out of Austin, Texas. This is the beat tape breakdown, where we chop it up with producers and just get it in. Just dive a little deeper than what you hear other places. You just getting the actual story behind the producers here. So this is track number 7, the Vibes beat tape, T Jones. Let's do it. That's a dope beat. I'm trying to imagine what I can just what I see myself doing like that, like driving on the highway to that, or just meditating to it. Like it's a vibe. I'm trying to think like how what would be the pocket to get into while I'm listening to something like that. But it's very dope. Kind of just takes your mind just starts drifting,
Yeah,
which is very
definitely.
dope. Which is the vibe you want to. That's the vibe you're going for. Obviously, you're trying to get people just in that state. Whatever gets them going or whatever is dope for them, that kind of just puts you in that frame of mind. Very dope. What was going on in your creative space or your mind when you produced that track?
Oh man. Let's see. I just I don't that one just kind of came to me, man. Honestly, I don't really have a story for that one. I was just no, I like the bounce. You know, I'm really on the heavy bounce. This would be closest to like the Texas kind of feel, like with the heavy drums,
Right.
smack and the, you know, kind of in your face a little bit. But I don't have yet. No story for that one.
Okay, I was feeling the Texas. I'm feeling the Texas heavy on that. Every time I feel a Texas vibe, I'm hearing Bun B on it for some reason. Like that's the go-to. Like when I'm listening to it, that's the artist that pops into my mind, which gives me the stamp. Like yeah, that's a Texas vibe right there. I can hear Bun B on it. That's a Texas vibe right there. Now I'm sure obviously there's a whole bunch of artists that came out of Texas, but for some reason, that's like the stamp. Once I can hear Bun B on it, it sounds like that's it right there. So
Gotcha.
that's dope. That's dope. All right, we're winding down. We got two more tracks we're gonna run through. This is T Jones. If you like anything you're hearing, and I'm sure you like more than a few things you're hearing, we're gonna. I guess we could do it now. Like, where's the beat tape available? Before we get to the last two tracks, where is it currently available? Where can they check it out at? Where can they download it at, and all that?
Okay, so right now I really have it on a SoundCloud. I have it on BeatStars. It's going to be getting uploaded to Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all those good things. Hopefully in the next week or so.
Right.
And if you catch me on my Instagram, tjones dot the producer. Well, sorry, the tjones dot the dot producer. There's the links in the Instagram bio. So.
Dope. Very dope. Definitely something that worth checking out. Ray Deuce is asking what's the Spotify?
The Spotify. Let me get
Oh,
back with
sorry, he said SoundCloud. My bad.
SoundCloud. Sorry, SoundCloud slash T Jones be the SoundCloud.
SoundCloud slash T Jones. T
T Jones.
as it's spelled in the the screen right here. TJONEZ or Z. All right, so that's the SoundCloud to check it out, and I would advise everyone listening to go and check that out because it's very dope, very dope. All right, we're getting into the track number 8. T Jones Vibes beat tape, straight out of Austin, Texas. This is track number 8. Let's get it.
Time for the mortals to pay.
like you had an artist in mind, like you wanted to just give them the space to just jump on and do their thing, like a lot of free space, not too much sounds to, clash with their vocals and whatnot, which is dope. Are you producing with that in mind, generally?
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of these songs that was the intention in mind. I didn't want to do too much, you know. The crazy thing about it is a lot of these songs have many, many other layers and things. I just wanted to keep it bare minimum and, let the, you know, freestyle, make the song off of it, do whatever you please.
Dope, dope, dope. All right, we're down to the last track. Is there any reason why you chose this particular track to be the closing track before we get
Uh,
to it?
Process of elimination.
Okay, all right, that works. That works for me. All right, this is the beat tape by T Jones. It's called Vibes. Vibes with a S, VIBES. We got the link in the chat if you want to download it. I recommend everyone to go and download it. SoundCloud.com/T Jones/sets and Vibes the EP. So it's in the chat. But yeah, this is the last track. Very dope. It's been a journey. This whole tape has been like a journey. It's like you're on a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a cohesive piece of work. All has a sound like it's put together well. It's not just a random track here and there and taking you all over the place, but it actually sounds like one body of work, which is dope. Let's get to the final track, Vibes, and check it out. Very, very dope. I thank you once again, T. Jones, for coming through, blessing us with the beat tape. Very, very dope body of work. Once again, this is available right now on SoundCloud. It's going to be available on Spotify and all the usual suspects shortly. So I guess in the next few days it'll be out there.
Yeah, hopefully within the next week it should be out there.
Okay, so all the usual suspects, the titles, the apples, and whatnot. But yeah, once again, this is T. Jones, straight out of Austin, Texas. Any final words you want to say about the beat tape or to the listeners in general?
Well, once again, thank you for having me on here and let me get to take up some of your time and showcase this. Also want to give a special shout out to the visual artist for the tape. He actually hand drew the visual tape, which was pretty cool. So you'll probably see that on the album artwork released in the next week or so. So
Dope.
and I
Dope.
just yeah.
Okay. There you have it. T. Jones, straight out of Austin, Texas. Everybody go out and get that, download that, SoundCloud that. It'll be available in a week on all the other usual suspects, but you don't need to wait for a week. You can get it right now. The link is in the chat. We're going to sign off. We'll be back in a few with Sean Beats coming up next out of Virginia. And of course, tonight, if y'all don't know, we got the big unknown sample flip battle. So make sure you tune into that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. T. Jones, salute once again. Hope
All right.
to hear you. Hope you're there tonight, checking out the battle. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's going to be a dope battle tonight with Unknown.
most
All
definitely.
right. Signing
Definitely.
off. Peace.
Peace. Take it easy.